hardest part is figuring out what you want to master.
Focus on your product.
Can you tell somebody that they suck?
You got to just go, this is exactly what I want to do for a living.
You can't even tell somebody that their breath is life.
So you're a YouTuber now.
I'm a YouTuber. You know, you got to stay young these days. I'm an old guy.
You do, man. It's so exciting. Like you know, like I said, we've been dabbling in it a lot, and it's difficult. Like,
it is.
These people are so used to constant content.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of like Instagram and that type of stuff?
Yeah, I do. I could do a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, that's a full-time job in itself. I hired somebody to do that.
Yeah.
So I have a marketing guy in my office that does all that type of stuff, but there's constant cool stuff that goes on throughout the day that I want to put out there, but I don't have time. You know, I got to close these real estate deals.
Yeah, it's so
hard. It's just, honestly, the reason why I started doing the YouTube channel was because we get inundated with emails all day long, and people want to see more. They want to know what happened with the deals that they saw, you know, open escrow on TV or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And there's so much that goes into those deals that people don't see that, you know, it's like, you know, let's show it to them.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's show the reality of it. Let's show them how you lose. You know, we were filming the other day, and unfortunately, I lost a $300,000 commission while we were rolling.
Really?
Like, they don't see that stuff.
That was on the vlog, not the show.
Yeah, and you don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
That was not a good moment, but, you know, it's real. And that's what it, you know, that's the thing that the show doesn't get. It's the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying before. It's like, it's funny because reality TV used to be like, that was the behind the scenes. Now there's a behind the scenes of the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know, which is like, you don't even see that stuff on TV. Do they care at all that you're filming your own thing when they're trying to film their thing? Have they tried to cock block your YouTube at all?
No.
That's good.
No, they're cool.
Yeah.
Actually, my show is super supportive with all of, I would say, the 7 businesses that we run.
Yeah.
And they all kind of feed each other, so it all works.
Yeah.
You know, we have not just real estate fans, but business fans. You know, I do probably 50 keynotes a year around the country.
Yeah.
A lot of them are entrepreneurs, a lot of people that probably listen to yours, and, you know, just motivational stuff. So it's not just real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, for a long time, I've gotten a lot of requests to have you on the show.
Really?
For a long time, yeah.
All right, who told them to say that?
There you go, man. Your army's strong.
He doesn't. You really?
Yeah.
I like
100%. I'm telling you, like, because I always ask, and there's a handful. Like, you know, you'd expect Gary Vee, which he came on, and it's not really that wide of a variety of people, but a lot of people asked for your story. So this has been a long time in the making.
Cool. I saw you had Damon John on the show.
Yeah. He's great.
Damon's a good client of mine. I'm actually flying to Arizona tomorrow to see him because we got an idea that we've kind of been throwing around that we want to do.
Yeah.
Whenever I have an idea, it's like my life is Shark Tank. I just call Damon.
Yeah.
I just got the direct line to Damon. I don't have to go on the show or anything.
Oh, that's perfect. You just get like a 30-second pitch and like, maybe next week.
Yeah,
brother.
He's like, Josh, just call me another time. That's when I know that he's not into it.
The pitch didn't go well. Oh, man. So one thing I always do on here, man, is like try to really wrap my head around people's stories. And like, I think a lot of people know of you and what you do, and you have this massive platform, and a lot of people love what you're doing, but I want to know how you became this, because I know it wasn't easy, and I'm sure it was a process. Where did you grow up?
So born and raised Newton, Massachusetts.
Got it.
Right outside of Boston. I went to Syracuse.
Yep.
Studied communications. I was everybody likes to make fun of me. I was a backup kicker on the Syracuse University football team.
Yeah.
Donovan McNabb was my quarterback. We won the Big East Championship 2 years in a row, Orange Bowl, Fiesta Bowl. So that was a crazy experience in itself.
Yeah.
Moved out to Manhattan.
Let me ask you this quickly.
Yeah.
All the way back, you have one brother, you have multiple?
One brother. We were not good children, so after the two of us, my mom and dad were like, we are never producing another child.
Yeah.
Our 2 children are the worst students in the world. They're the it's just we were why they have birth control in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm just going to put it out there right now.
What's the age difference?
He's 3 years older, which when you're growing up, 3 years is a huge difference.
Yeah.
So he used to pick on me. Oh my God. Until one day he came back from college, and, you know, I hit the gym real hard that year, and we fought, and I won, and my parents were clapping. And then literally after that, we became best friends.
Really?
Yeah.
It's funny how that'll work.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Just got to win once.
What do you, You just guess. That's exactly. Turn the power.
That's it.
Flip the power system.
He said, "Screw
over.
this. I'm not fighting Josh anymore."
There you go. What were you guys? Did you guys hang out a lot growing up? Did you have the same interests? Were you like the type that had totally different stuff?
No, I would follow everything that my brother did. He was the older brother. He was my hero. He was my mentor. And even past college, when I moved out here, the coolest thing about having an older brother like mine, every internship he did, at the end, they say, "Matt, you were so great. If there's anything we can ever do for you, let us know." And he'd say, "Actually, I need you to do me a favor. My brother is coming out next summer.
Yeah.
I want him to have this internship."
That's good.
The guy paved the way for me.
Yeah.
Every internship he did, then I followed and did it. Not as good, but I did it.
Yeah.
And he looked out for me. It's
That's
great.
awesome. Did you ever have any issues with like, I'm a younger brother. My brother was always better than me at everything.
Yeah.
It gave me a little bit of a chip on my shoulder.
For sure.
Did you get that too?
Yeah. Absolutely. My brother was like the fastest on the team. He scored the most goals.
Yeah,
He got better grades. I was like the I was the chubby dumb kid. And so I had to kind of work through that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you still deal with that today or no?
Well, not so much.
Yeah.
Not so much. I lay down the law now.
That's good. That's real good. And then what, did you ever have any early, like, like this is what I'm going to be when I grow up? Were you going to be an athlete? Were you going to be like, what were early passions?
You know what's funny is, so I had the most odd jobs growing up, had no idea what direction I was going to go in. I worked everything from funeral homes to, I got fired from every job. Like I used to work at the mall at J. Crew. I was just trying to do anything I could do.
Yeah.
And when I came out to LA, I started in the mailroom. Mm-hmm. And I worked at a music management company. Uh-huh. And it was called The Firm. I don't know if you remember that back in the day.
Yeah.
And I was delivering mail. And on the side, I was reading these books about real estate. And I was talking to all these people that were in real estate and they were making lots of money. And I said, "Matt, we got to get into real estate."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, how are we going to get into real estate? We don't have any money."
Uh-huh.
And so for the next year, we saved up every dollar we made. I had $5,000 saved to my name. Matt had $5,000 saved to his name. We put it together. We took that $10,000 and we went into a bank and we got something called 100% financing, which doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And we took that $10,000 and we bought a $400,000 condo. Really? And we moved into the condo. Every paycheck we got for the next probably 8 weeks, we would do something different to the condo. First paycheck, we go to Home Depot, get paint.
Yeah.
Next paycheck, we change out a light fixture. Next paycheck, we put in a new appliance. Whatever it was, like that. 3 months into it, we sold the condo for $600,000.
Wow.
So we made $200,000 in 3 months.
And was that the first time that you were like,
that was it?
This is my thing.
So I said, "Whoa, I'm in the mailroom, making $6.50 an hour.
Yeah.
We just made $200,000.
Were you still working in the mailroom?
Oh, I was in the mailroom, still working in the mailroom. I made that $200,000, and I'm telling you, I thought I was a millionaire.
Of course.
Okay, you get that money, you're like, I'm rich.
Yes, I love that.
More money than I had ever seen.
I always talk about like the first payday or the first, you know what I mean? Because it's hard to match that feeling. I bet now if you got $1 million tomorrow just given to you for something, it would not feel anywhere near. Sorry,
John,
I would $10 million.
Hold on. Let's get something straight.
Yeah.
If someone gives me $1 million or $10 million, I'm stoked.
I bet you are. Yeah.
I will get that feeling back. I promise you.
The same as the 200?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes.
What I always, that's good then. Because you know what I always find is like that first 200, you are like, oh my God, like not only am I filthy rich, I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell me anything. I will never see a bad day in my life.
Yeah.
And I have figured out how to hack real estate more than anyone else in history.
It was unbelievable. Oh my God. That $200,000, it just changed the game.
Yeah.
It opened up the opportunity in our minds that, wow, we can do this. We can be successful. It showed other people that we can be successful. And in our eyes, we were the two biggest developers in the history of Los Angeles.
There you go.
Because we did one little flip.
That's that feeling.
So we took that $200,000. I didn't even have a car at the time. I actually would rollerblade back and forth to the mailroom every day.
You're lying.
Yeah, no, I swear.
You'd strap on fucking rollerblades?
Yeah, and by the way, this was before skateboarding was like,
I get it,
where it's at. Yeah. So rollerblades were cool.
How long ago was
rollerblades were cool, bro.
This is like 8 years ago.
It's not 8 years ago.
How
this
old
was
are you?
2001. All right?
listen, skateboarding existed in 2000.
I know, but not in my world. Not in my world. So,
and rollerblading was already whacked in 2001. Just for the record.
For the record, all right, we're gonna change the story right now.
Yep.
We're never gonna repeat
So
that.
I got my skateboard.
So I used to skateboard back and forth to the mailroom.
Yep.
So after I got that check, I rollerbladed to the Jeep dealership. I bought myself a Jeep Cherokee because that was my dream car at the time. And and that was it. And then I drove to my mailroom job in the new car, and I quit. And I took the rest.
I love that you bought the Jeep first.
Yeah, I got the Jeep because I didn't have time to rollerblade there and then rollerblade there.
Yeah, it's rich guy problems. Now that you're rich, it's like you got to schedule your days different.
That was it. So, got to the quit. And then at that point, I thought I was a full-time developer, even though I literally did one flip.
But what do you do like on the next day, right? So I'm just picturing sell this thing. Oh, my God, get the check, buy the Jeep, quit the job. And then it's like,
Okay, so now we called up our realtor because we weren't realtors. Called up my realtor and I said, all right, let's find another one. And we went searching and we eventually found another one. The next one was $700,000. We flipped it 6 months later for $900,000.
Were you living in them too?
Oh yeah, my brother and I, we would move in, live out of the suitcase, fix the houses while we were in them, and then sell them.
Got it.
And it was easy. It was just my brother and I in a suitcase each.
Yeah.
And that was it. And we kept on doing that. And by like the fifth or sixth, I was like, you know what? It's all about the bottom line. I got to get my real estate license.
Yeah.
And I did. I became a mortgage broker because I wanted to learn the finance side. Started very slow in that business, but worked my way up. Ended up being the top sales guy in the company. And eventually opened up my own mortgage company. Started killing it. I mean, we were making money hand over fist.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. What do you think, because you're going fast, and there's some gems.
Only because I know we don't have, hours to do this. So
this is good. My question is, when you first got into working at that first real estate company, what do you think set you apart? Like, why did you excel so quickly when I'm sure there's people who have been in there for years?
Well, it was interesting. So I walk into the mortgage company and I decided to go with the company that promised me the best leads, right? Because in sales, leads equal money. And I sat down and I said, all right, boss, I'm ready for the leads you promised me. And he comes by my desk and he drops the phone book on my desk. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, all the leads in the city.
Yeah. And he said, Josh, let me tell you something. Don't ever forget this. Everybody is a lead.
Yeah.
And that was it. So I started in the mortgage business calling from A to Z in a phone book, literally from when you could legally start calling till I think it was 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. when you legally couldn't call anymore.
Yeah.
And pounded that, God, every day until I got one deal, then two deals, and three deals. And I think the important, well, no, it wasn't that I loved it. I think when you calling, you get rejected so many times. There's a couple things that you learn. Number one, you learn how to have tough skin.
Yeah.
Okay, which is super important in that business, in any business, especially as an entrepreneur. But also you learn to almost accept rejection and let it fuel the fire inside you. Yeah. And that's what it was. So every time somebody hung up on me, I dialed harder the next time. I learned from the mistake of the pitch, and it just came natural to me. And next thing you know, I'm closing 12, 15, 20 deals a month. Fast forward, open up my own mortgage company, hire all my best friends because I went from that Jeep Cherokee to, I don't even know, some fancy cars.
What was the next one?
Next one from there was like the Jeep to the Range Rover to the M6, also the Porsche. And then I started very quickly having a lot of cars, which was very stupid. And
part of the culture, though. I feel like real estate guys are supposed to be flashy.
They're supposed to be flashy.
You got to be like, hey, look, you want to live rich, you want to look rich, come to me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I always say, you got to look like you can afford the house that you're trying to sell.
There you go, yeah.
So now, I'm showing a $30 million house. I roll up in the Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
I got a custom suit.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling you this to brag, but this is the people behind me that pull up to buy the house also pull up in the same car.
Yep.
They're wearing the same watch. And so when I'm pitching them, it doesn't sound like I'm pitching.
Yep.
It sounds like, oh, here's a guy. He's like me.
Yeah.
Oh, why do you like this house? Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's a whole process of sales that's on just a whole different level. Now, I'm not saying go out and buy a Rolls Royce and a custom suit. Get your car washed, put 2 waters in the back seat, and they feel like it's luxury.
Yeah.
I had a polyester suit to start. They weren't all like fine Italian fabrics.
But would you say the advice is like for anyone, even if you're just getting started, like step it up a little?
Step it up.
Look like who you're trying to sell to maybe? Like what's kind of the lesson in that?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, I remember I used to borrow my friends' cars when I first got started. just to look more successful. I always say fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah.
And everybody says that, but it's the truth. You got to act as if you're successful when you're trying to sell a product to somebody, who might be more successful than you are.
Yeah.
So everything was going great. All of a sudden, it's crazy, but it was mid 2007. I remember my bank rep at the mortgage company came in and said, "Josh, we're closing our doors." Me, I'm in my own world. I look at my watch and I'm like, "It's 3:00. Why are you closing so early?" They're like, "Josh, we're going out of business. Are you not concentrating on what's going on in the world?" I was like, "No, I'm just doing so many deals." He's like, "We're done."
Why in 2007?
That's when the economy collapsed.
Oh, I thought wasn't it 2008?
Mid 2007, it started. Yeah. By 2008, I was broke.
Yeah, 2008.
2008 was a very, very bad year for me.
Okay, so how'd that play out?
I think it was
you?
June 2007. My first bank rep came in, and I'm like, I got 18 other bank reps at the mortgage company. Not a big deal. And then a couple months go by, and another one comes in, tells me the same thing. Very quickly, all these banks were done. So now I have a 10,000 square foot mortgage company in Koreatown down the street.
Yeah.
Personally guarantee the office, and like that, the faucet stopped. The money was coming in, and it was done in like overnight.
And that's just, sorry, I'm asking a really stupid question here. That is just, the money's not flowing to anyone, so no one's buying houses, and there's no movement happening in real estate. Is that right?
There were no loans to be given. You couldn't get a loan if it didn't matter what you had.
Yeah.
So my business was done, and the craziest part of the story is, and even because I was in it and I was selling loans, my brother and I bought a castle in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah, as you should.
As I should. 2 weeks before the economy collapsed. And so here we are, this giant castle. It's like 6,000 square feet. It's like $3.5 million. I'm 26. My brother's 29. We bought the house because it had 2 master bedrooms.
Yeah.
Because we thought that was, the most important thing.
Seems
2 brothers.
practical. I mean, it seems right.
We're in this castle. My business just collapsed. I just bought this place for 3.5, and I wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, and I go, "Oh my God. It cost me $40,000 a month to get out of bed every day. And so how is that going to work when I have $0 coming in?"
Yeah.
And very quickly, the bank account started going down. And I said, "All right, we got to put this house back on the market." And now it's 2008. We'll put it back on for the same amount. We'll pay commissions. We'll break even, something like that. Month goes by, not one call. We lower it $200,000. Another month go by, no call. We lowered another $200,000. Again, and again. So that $3.5 or so million house, we ended up selling for $1.8 million.
Jesus.
We got crushed. That was the last like $600,000 or $700,000, which was my down payment.
Yeah.
Gone. So I went from living in this like 6,000 or 7,000 square foot castle to being broke, top of the world. Now I'm at the bottom of the world. So I was 26, I was a millionaire. 26 and a half, I was broke.
Because I'm guessing at 26, living in a brand new castle with your brother, killing the game, you must be like on top of the world.
I thought I was untouchable.
Oh, man. And then what happened? What'd that do to you mentally?
Oh, that crushed me.
Yeah.
And it crushed me on a whole a way that I didn't think was possible to take me down, because my mentality was I was untouchable on top of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am now. Everything I had was taken away. Literally watching these sports cars in my garage, one by one, being taken away. Yeah. And I got depressed. It actually was. It was a bad time for me. For a year, I love being active. I wake up every morning. I go to the gym. I'm a positive attitude type of guy. I didn't get out of bed for a year.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe to get the food that I ordered to my duplex that I moved back into, and but that was it.
And were you still trying to like sell a house here and there? Or
there was not sell. Well, I was a mortgage broker, but no, that was done. I was trying to. Well, the first year I really didn't move. I didn't do anything. I screwed up every friendship, relationship that I had. I lied to people because I didn't want them to think that I wasn't successful anymore. It was a dark time for me. Yeah. And eventually, I was lucky enough to have my brother right next to me, and we constantly try to motivate each other. We constantly try to figure out what the next thing we were going to do. We were we came up with the craziest stuff because we had to make money.
Yeah.
Because we lost all of it very quick. And it's one thing to not have money. It's another thing to have had it and then had it taken away from you.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah.
We were on the other side and now we're back on the other side.
Yeah.
So, we came up with ideas where, oh, wait, why don't we do this? Why don't we sell roses on Valentine's Day? We'll go borrow $20,000 from a rich friend of ours and we'll go buy 20 grand worth of roses. We'll get a pop-up shop and we'll sell them 4 times markup and we'll make, 80 grand.
Yeah.
That's easy, right? It's simple.
Yeah.
You charge more for roses on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Little did we know, we didn't research it. We were trying to get rich quick again. And little did you know, everybody is super loyal to their florists, apparently. So here we are on the corner of
that.
Yeah, I mean,
I would have guessed you pick a hot corner.
right?
And you're chilling.
That's what we thought. Corner of Melrose, La Cienega.
Yeah.
We did a pop-up shop, 4 days, $20,000 worth of roses. I will tell you this. We sold basically none. My friends were the happiest people in the world because by the end of Valentine's Day, I called up all my friends and I said, I got 20 grand worth of roses.
Yeah.
I said, I lost all my money. At least take these roses and give them to your girlfriends.
Yeah.
And that was it. So, I mean, we couldn't win no matter what we did. Eventually, we kept doing those type of jobs, trying to figure out what our next gig was going to be. And, I don't remember when it was exactly, but I said to Matt, I said, look, let's think about this in the long term, not just get rich quick. What is it that we love? And we said, well, look, we've financed houses, we've flipped houses. Why don't we just represent people buying houses? Because we love real estate and we love dealing with people.
Can I ask you this one quick thing about the dark times?
Yeah.
What is your worst case scenario? Is it moving back to where you came from? Is it, you know what I mean? Because I know I live with this at the end of the day, I could always have to go back to Ohio. You know what I mean? I could be at Starbucks in Ohio.
Yeah. That's funny. No, I was not going back.
Yep.
I was not going
back. So that doesn't even exist in your head. It's
doesn't
just
exist in my head.
Something's going to work.
I'm going to make it. I'm going to figure it out. Listen, I moved to LA with nothing. Mm-hmm. So the worst case scenario is I've wasted 10 years of my life, but I'm going back to still having nothing. So I've been there before. Yeah. And then I realized, wait, it's not wasting 10 years. I actually learned from everything that I did, the good stuff and the bad stuff. So it made me a better business person, better person all around, smarter. There was no worst case scenario. I was living the worst case scenario.
Yeah. And I also because I had a rough spot, probably 3 or 4 years ago. And I found that not only is that around when I came up with the idea to start this podcast, which has helped me out a lot, but that's when I really dug deep into books and different things that really helped starting to build back up those instincts that I already had that had gotten kind of wrecked. Did you have any of that stuff? Was there anything that kind of you found in that time that helped you get out of the pit?
I was, first of all, I was always the guy that had all the how to become a CEO book, right? Yeah. How to, just all those books were definitely in my room. Yeah. It was in my life, every time I was knocked down, it was more about how I bounced back than worrying about what knocked me down and what I learned from that. And I still today, I learn something new every day. If it's in real estate, if it's in another deal, if it's just in life. And, I look at everything as a learning experience, not take it more than that. And every mistake that's okay. Mm-hmm. You learn mistakes are fine. Mistakes make you who you are. They make you better at what you do. Yep. And so I got into real estate, and it's funny because I walked up and down those same streets where all my mortgage companies were that I met with the first time when I interviewed. None of them existed, but now there were a couple real estate companies that were still there that had been around forever.
And what year are we in here?
And this is 2009.
Got it.
And I met with all the companies, and I decided to go with the company that had the best real estate agents at that company. Because I was always, look, I'm an athlete, right? Mm-hmm. And I always felt that, in sports, if you play someone who's better than you, you rise to the occasion, right? So I said, all right, I would rather be the worst at the best company than the best at the worst company. If I surround myself with all these hitters in real estate, I'm going to rise to their level. Yeah. And that's what we did.
Good idea, man. I mean, a lot of people are get intimidated by that or want to be the star at the little, big fish, little pond. That's good. And so that's what happened.
Well, so that's what happened. I joined the company. First 6 months, I sold zero. And it was super frustrating. I was just telling somebody this the other day. I remember it. I mean, door knocking nonstop up and down the Hollywood Hills, cold calling, letting everybody know what I do. And no deal was coming together. And we needed a paycheck like we needed air at this point.
Yeah.
We finally got our first deal done, and I got the deal from sitting another person's open house because I didn't have any listings. And I went up to this guy in my company and I said, "Hey, my name's Josh Altman. You don't know me. I'm new here. If there's any open houses that you don't want to do or that you've had on the market for a year that won't sell, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
Let me know. If you need me to pick up your dry cleaning, cool. You want me to get you coffee? Cool. No, no ego." I mean, I was beaten down by that point.
Yeah.
He let me sit one of his open houses. This buyer walked in, said, "I don't like this house, but you have anything else?" A couple months later, I finally sold my first deal. It was a $1.6 million piece of land in the Hollywood Hills. Got that paycheck, and just it all changed from there. And now, a decade later, $3 billion worth of real estate sold. It's been a crazy ride.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And that one moment was like the turnaround. What's the roughly commission on the 1.6?
Oh, it was like $30-something thousand.
But it was enough to be like, okay,
it was enough after
eat.
taxes and splitting it with my brother.
Yep.
All right, you got a little, I got a little. Now we can eat. Maybe we could buy a new suit. Maybe we can go and actually what we did is we used to go sit at the bar at the fanciest restaurants in town, and we would order water on the rocks with a lime so it looked like we were drinking vodka, and we would sit there and we would mingle with wealthy people.
Yeah.
And that was the way where we just started getting deals, getting people to know who we were. And that was it, man. Fake it till you make it.
Man.
And it was crazy because eventually, it kept them rolling and everything was going good. And then, we sold this young lady a house that, people were just starting to hear of. You might have heard of her. Her name's Kim Kardashian.
I heard of her.
Yeah.
I heard she's doing well.
This little condo for $800,000. Somebody introduced us to her, and we sold it. And then we sold a house to somebody who she introduced us to. And then next thing you know, an article came out in the paper about us. And then I get a call from the show, $1 million listing.
And what, I guess I really want to ask you about that, because right before $1 million listing, where were you at, as far as how you were doing? Like you were already back up and running at that point and kind of you were cruising.
Yeah. So it's funny. A lot of people ask that question. They're like, were you successsul before or were you successful because of the show?
And that's not what I'm asking.
Yeah,
I want to frame how this worked, how you saw it. Meaning so you were already doing well, already cruising. I'm guessing when they call for something like that, did you think we don't know, or this is kind of weird and kind of crazy? We're already doing just fine. I guess we'll try it. What was your mentality?
So that's a great question. So we were selling, when I got that call, we were selling about $50 million a year in real estate.
Yep.
So we were on top of the world, then we were back on the bottom, and now we're very quickly on the way to the top again. It was me, my brother, and one assistant in an office 1/4 the size of this room, and we're just hammering the phones, doing whatever we could do to get deals done. And that's when we got that call. And it's funny because I went into the interview process. They called me, and I called my mom. I'm like, "Ma, I just got the show. I'm super excited." And then I go into the interview process, and there's 100 people in a room.
Really?
They're 100 realtors, and they all sell $50 million a year. And I'm like, damn, I think I called my mom too soon. 4 or 5 interviews later, they eventually offered me the gig. And, I walked in that interview and I was cocky. I was, alpha male, super aggressive, the guy you see on the show. And
did you play you're okay, I know they want a character here. I need to go in there and kill it.
I definitely elevated my personality.
Yeah.
It wasn't trying to be someone who I thought they needed.
Yeah.
It was just me on steroids.
Yeah.
And it happened to be the person that they felt would mix up the show a lot. Yeah. So it kind of just worked.
Yeah.
And
the show was, or is it just real estate in certain cities and multiple people doing it?
Yeah. So there's 3 or 4 other people on my show. It's LA. So we were the original. Yeah. Since then, there's been New York, which has been very successful. They did San Francisco. They did Miami. Yeah. But we're the original. And we've been on for 11 seasons now, come out back again in January. And it's been a blessing. I mean, since then, now we sell $500 million a year in real estate. I had a best-selling book. I got another one coming out in April called The Altman Close, which is all about negotiating and closing real estate deals, which I'm super excited about. Just started my podcast, which I'm really excited about.
Oh, that's good. You're a vlogger now.
Yeah, I'm a vlogger. We got businesses, different types of businesses, real estate all around the world now, from investing in real estate to becoming a real estate agent. And for me, actually, one of the most fun things is going around the world and doing these keynote speeches and speaking to 1,000 salespeople, 1,000 entrepreneurs, 1,000 realtors, and teaching them, talk about my story, which is cool and it's motivating, but also, how I got to where I am, but also what they can do to become successful. And I get to meet these people, and inspiring people is the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah. It is. What I want to go back to the show a little bit too, is like so you're already doing your thing, you're already succeeding. Now you're filming this show. What did that look like to you? Like, was there a lot of out of your way shit you had to go do? Were they just following you, doing what you actually already did? Like, how did that start?
Well, it's fine. So first, they offered me the show, and I really was against it because here I am. I was on the top, then on the bottom. Now I'm back on the top again, and I'm nervous as hell. Okay, I've already lost it once. When you lose everything you've had once, you're very careful the second time around. Like, who's trying to take my money now? And I was like, wait, if I go on TV and then something goes wrong, I could lose it all again. I'm not going through that again. And so I went back and forth, and it was actually my brother. My brother said, listen, Josh, no matter what they make you look like, you're going to be known on TV as a real estate agent. And the single most important thing in real estate is marketing yourself. So you got to do it. And so I did it. And since then, what the cool part about the show is it's doing what I do anyways. So it's not like I got to put time aside 10 months a year to film the show. It's, hey guys, I got a listing appointment next week. It's for $10 million house. Do you want to follow me? So I'm going either way. So you can either come with me or not. And it's, it's taken off. Now it's like 2 million viewers an episode, 70 countries around the world.
And how did that, like, do you remember a moment when was it when it first came out, or a moment when like, you're like, oh shit, this is going to change things?
Well, the first season was tough. The first season, oh my God, I remember me, reading all the social media.
Oh yeah, that's brutal.
Dude, I got killed.
Yeah.
People
thought you were a dick or something?
People thought I was the biggest asshole on the planet. Can I swear on this? Sorry.
Absolutely.
And they're like, who is this guy? And I think my aggressiveness and my confidence in what I was doing came off as arrogant and ego. So it was a bloodbath that first year.
And was that on like what was the Instagram or?
It was.
Where'd you get that? Where'd you start getting flooded?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, emails to my office. People don't realize I'm on TV, but you can Google me and get my email address because I'm a realtor. You know what I mean? You can get in touch with me if you want. And people felt, hey, I can get in touch with this guy. I'm going to tell him what a dick he is. And man, it was crazy.
Did you ever think it was a mistake?
A lot.
Really?
A lot that first year. And then it started to get better. And then I got more good stuff than bad stuff. And then it took off. It took off. And I was like, you realize now, I don't even realize when cameras are on me because it's been over a decade. But, in the beginning, you're aware of them. And so it's tough to be yourself. I'm not an actor. I never signed up to be an actor. And so once you get comfortable, that's when it all started to change for me.
Yeah, it's true. How many seasons did you say you've done now?
It's season 11. I got on season 3 or 4. And it was crazy because I remember the first season, nobody knew really about the show. It was very low key. And I would tell my clients, hey, is it cool? Do you want to do an episode? And they're like, and I used to have to offer to do the sales for free to get the people on the show.
And now what? Now is it not?
Now, hey, we want to sell our house. Can we be on the show? And I'm like, I was like, I'm like, wait in line. I only had the 187 deals I did last year. I was like, I only got 12 spots.
Oh, so, and is that on you to like figure out?
It's
like you got to figure out who you want to kind of highlight, or
I'll sit down and I'll go through the deals and the potential properties coming up, and my producers will be like, that sounds interesting. Let's do that. So I kind of give them a bunch. And they pick out the ones that they want to follow. I didn't learn this for a few years. It's not about the biggest, baddest house. it's about the stories. Like, and I think it actually, the moment that it all changed for me was when my mom called me and told me I had to sell this old lady's condo for $800,000. And I remember I was like, Mom, it's an $800,000 condo. Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah.
And she's like, just do it. And they filmed that whole thing. And the lady was the sweetest woman in the world. And it wasn't a big real estate deal. And I did it. I basically was a pro bono deal because it was my mom's friend's mother.
Yep.
And that's when it all changed.
Really?
And it was a very high rated episode. People started emailing me like, you're such a nice guy. And that was it.
Wow.
And that was it. And then I realized, wow, it's really about the stories, and people get invested in you know, who these people are. It's not just about the mansions and the bling.
Yeah. That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's really good to know. It makes you feel good about like humanity.
100%.
You know what I mean? Because my first guess would be like, no, the more expensive the house, the better the episode.
Right. Like,
People
I just
still care about little old ladies.
Yeah.
That's good.
I just sold a house right now where we close next week, and it was an older couple in their 90s lived there. The guy was a war hero in a wheelchair. He had one leg, 95 years old. He also ran a studio in LA. He was the president of a studio.
Wow.
This guy's story, this guy was a real man. Like, I'm talking legend.
Yeah.
You know, they don't make it like this guy anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this guy got shot down twice in war. And like, you know,
Yeah.
we think we know everything. We think we're tough.
Yeah.
This guy was the real deal. And, you know, I had the honor of selling his house. It was an 8-month escrow. He passed away halfway through the escrow. And, but the story like that, we didn't get to follow it. But I was like, man, I wish the world could see this.
Oh, that wasn't even filmed.
Wasn't filmed, but the people I get to meet day in and day out, and all around LA, and the different stories, you know, new money, old money, no money, whatever it is, you know, a divorce, a new job, lost a job, you know, I'm part of it. And if you're part of that, you know, time in their life, you know, and you treat them right, and they're happy, you stay on their speed dial for the rest of their life.
Yeah. It's so crazy to me how much your business is about relationships. You know what I mean? And just like, because I could meet you today and buy a $20 million, hopefully, house from you in 15 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, man.
Yeah, and it's all about cultivating those relationships over time. And I have people like Kim, right?
Yeah.
First thing was an $800,000 condo. I've now sold her like 8 houses.
Yeah.
And every time they get more and more expensive and bigger. And so it is about those relationships. And
what do you do to make sure, because it's such a competitive area, what do you do to make sure somebody doesn't come in and build a better relationship?
You know what? You got to be the best at what you do.
And what does that mean?
You got to be an expert. So I always found out that the wealthier the client, the more valuable they think their time is.
Yeah.
And so if you're all business with these people and you show them a good deal and you make them money, they're always going to come back.
Yeah.
Like, I've sold more celebrities than I can count. It doesn't matter to me. Like, those aren't my favorite deals because I treat them like anybody.
Yeah.
You know, the favorite deals are the special deals, like the first deal I ever closed, or the biggest deal I ever closed, or the one where you know, I gave half of it to charity, or whatever it is. Like, there's special deals throughout my career that either elevated my game or made me better as a person. You know, I sold the most expensive 1-bedroom ever sold for $21 million.
Really?
Like
Where was that at?
I remember that story, and that was actually an episode of our show years ago. That was in Beverly Park.
Wow.
And
There's a 1-bedroom in Beverly Park.
Yeah, very wealthy guy, didn't want people to stay at his house, so he built a 1-bedroom mansion.
Good for him.
And
That's incredible.
you know, that actually catapulted me to the next level. And you know, there's certain deals that you just remember throughout your career.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. And I think the most important thing is, look, I'm blessed. I get to work with my brother every day.
Yep.
I get to work with my wife. She works for me. She's my top agent.
Yeah.
She's what I call my wifeager. She runs a lot of our businesses. You know, and to be able to do that within the family and love what you do, I don't really care at this point about commissions like I used to.
Yeah.
It's more about, you know, being happy. And I had a daughter a year and a half ago. That's the greatest part of my life.
That was
now.
your first kid?
It's amazing.
Is it?
I want to have like 10 kids.
Is it what everyone says? Like, it just gives you a whole new perspective on...
The coolest thing.
Yeah.
The coolest thing ever. I rush home to put my daughter to bed before I go back to the office at 8.
Yep.
Like, so I make sure I'm there and I make sure I'm in the moment now. And you know, before when I never thought I put my phone down.
Yeah.
Like if you call me when I'm with my daughter, you're not going to get me.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to work with me at that point, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Because
have you found like you've been able to, that's one thing that we talk about a lot on here and just in general is like the phone time stuff. Like, are you the type of guy that when you're working, but when you're home, you're not on it?
So I always pride myself on being 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
That phone never left my hand and never left my ear. But since I had my daughter, which I had always struggled separating business and life and pleasure and my wife, since I had my daughter, it became very clear very quickly for me that, you know what, it's okay. No deal is going to make or break me. You know, I have a beautiful wife, I have a beautiful daughter, and that's the important thing. Life is so short. I've met so many clients that I've sold houses to that aren't around anymore. I mean, just, you know, if they're older or whatever, or this or that, you know, you turn on the news at night, it's like the scariest show on TV.
Yeah.
Life's short, man.
Yeah.
So you got to enjoy it.
And have you noticed any business fall off from that?
No, this is the biggest year of our career.
Yeah.
And it's just gotten, people respect me more when I draw the guidelines and they know that I'm not available 24/7, believe it or not, which is crazy because that's totally learned. Against what I always thought.
Yeah, and I've also learned that I'm more focused if I take a moment like where I say like I'm home for 2 hours, I'm not on my phone, whatever. When I go back to my emails or whatever, I'm more excited to even be doing them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As opposed to this kind of constant state of random stuff coming in and out.
Yeah.
It's like when you are present in everything that you're doing, you're excited to go back to your emails and see what you got and respond to everyone, you know?
Exactly.
It's interesting. I just feel like it's a flaw in the basic way that we think about this shit.
But you got to go, listen, I grinded 10 years straight.
True.
10 years straight.
Yeah.
When my friends were on vacation, I was working.
Yeah.
You know, when anything was going on, I was working. I had no life for 10 years, but I love what I do. It got me to where I am, and I'd never change it. And, you know, the learning experiences throughout. But now I'm able to do anything that I want.
Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah.
What's the main thing that you see connecting when you do like these keynotes and stuff? I know you love the keynotes. I know you love like the impact. What's the main, is it like, you know, people trying to find a way to be successful, people trying to find, like, what are you seeing connecting with people the most?
So that's a good question. You know, people watch our show and they don't know the backstory.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy in his Rolls Royce, he must have grew up with money.
Born rich,
he had it, he lucky.
Yeah.
Well, he must have had connections. Nobody really like makes it not having connections.
Yeah.
And, you know, so when I tell my story, they go, that's what resonates with them.
Yeah.
And I'll get off stage and they'll go, I didn't know. That's crazy. Wait, you started in the mailroom?
Yeah.
Wait, so I can do this too? And it just kind of, you know, it allows them to realize that you don't like need a connection. You can do this yourself. Yeah. And the other thing I'll tell you, which I noticed, which actually pisses me off, is how lazy the next generation is that's coming out of college.
Yeah.
Like I meet
so
many people that think the next opportunity is going to fall on their lap and they want it to be handed to them and they're lazy, and that pisses me off.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I kind of just try to fuel the fire inside them and be like, you know, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, because what do you say? How do you nicely, I mean, these people are looking up to you. You're the guy from TV. You're this super successful. And they're like, hey, man, no opportunities have fallen in my lap lately. Can you help?
Yeah.
Like, how do you nicely be like?
Like I get emails nonstop from people around the world. Hey, I want to work for you. I love money. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
That's your pitch to me?
Yeah.
Or I'll come work for you. It looks like real estate's fun on TV. Come on, man.
Yeah. But
like,
what would you say? What do you say if a kid walks up and says that?
I'll tell you what. The most successful people that have worked for me that I have hired, I'll give you like a basic story of one of my top agents now. Mm-hmm. He saw me driving on the street on a random Sunday, and he was in his mom's car, and he was honking the car, and he pulled over, and he's like, I got to work for you. I'm telling you, I'm the hungriest kid. I'll do anything I got to do. I'm in college right now, but I'll drive in to LA every weekend just to show houses and shadow you. And I was like, hey, whatever. And I was like, just email me. And he ended up emailing me. And this was like 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he kept on emailing me, and I never answered. And he emailed me again and again. And he was super persistent. And eventually I said, you know what? I'm going to email this kid back, and I'm going to have him come in, and I'm not going to meet with him. Uh-huh. I'm going to make him sit in my lobby all day long. And then he's going to disappear. Then I don't have to hear from him again.
Yeah.
And so he came in at 8, and I made him sit there all day long. And then I left the office that night. And I came back the next morning and he was still sitting there.
Really?
And I said, "You're hired." Because most people would leave after an hour, hour and a half.
Yep.
They definitely won't come back. And it's just.
And now he's a successful real estate agent?
You just signed a $78 million listing. And if you do the math, that's like, it's $1.5 million commission when he closes it. And he's 24.
He's 24 right now?
He was 17 when he sat in my lobby overnight.
That's a good lesson.
That's what you got to do. If you want it, if you're hungry, then go get it.
Yeah.
And when you get turned down, fine, do it again. And when you get turned down again or you fail, do it again and again and again. And don't fucking stop until you're successful.
Yeah. Would you say that's the two biggest things that hold young people back is either like sort of that expectation thing that they just deserve it, or a lack of belief that they're capable of it?
Well, it's society itself. It's the expectation thing. And it's, well, I'm not going to go down there, but it's like everybody deserves a trophy. It's not, when I was growing up, the winner gets a trophy.
Yeah.
And if you don't win, you don't get anything.
Yeah.
And that actually motivated me to try harder and become more successful because you want that trophy.
Yeah.
Not everybody's a winner. No, everyone's not a winner.
Yeah.
That's not real life.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with society, these kids coming out of college that, everybody deserves a fair chance. You got to take that chance.
Yeah.
You got to make that. You got to create that and you got to earn it. And that's where I think the disconnect is with successful people now with people coming out of school is, we're all winners.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it. We live in a very like padded society,
I probably shouldn't have said that, but it's the truth, man.
You did a good job at like lightly.
It's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's the most important player. No, they're not.
Yeah, we're all wrapped in bubble wrap. It's all these little bubble wrap kids. Bubble boy.
Because society will chew you up and it will spit you out.
Yep.
And when that happens, you don't know what hit you because you were wrapped in bubble wrap your whole life.
Yeah. There we go, man. That's a soundbite if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, that's coming from a guy who got a 980 on his PSATs, which means that I signed my name right, and that was about it. Did so bad on my SATs that I literally had to play a sport to get into school. Failed math, and now I'm making more commissions than anybody. And, nothing was handed to me.
Yeah.
So if you're that same person right now, don't worry. The opportunity is still right in front of you. Go grab it.
Yeah. And you think you just had that? You had this fire in you. There was nothing that came in and like, I know you did this on your own, but was there anyone when you look back that you're like, that put this in you, put this mentality in you?
No. And by the way, it wasn't like I was this super motivated, kid growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got to a point in my life. I think it kind of switched on in me when I was like 18.
Yeah.
My parents always said that I came out of my shell when I was 18.
Yeah.
I was shy before. So I don't know if it was when I went off to school and I was on my own or what it was. And then I kind of molded myself into who I am and the experiences did. But yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
What do your parents think about what you've done?
Oh, they laugh. They laugh because, now I travel around the world speaking. Mm-hmm. My father is a doctor. Mm-hmm. And he used to travel around the world speaking and lecturing other doctors. And he laughs because my dad did his residency at Harvard. He was one of the smartest guys I've ever met in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Son of a bitch, you get paid more than I do for my speaking engagements." So they get a kick out of it. They're like, we actually, we didn't think you were going to amount to anything. We knew your brother was going to be successful, but not you. So now we laugh about it.
I love now when that truth can come out. Like, man, we thought you were the loser. Like, what the fuck? You didn't tell me that. That's so good. Okay, final question. If you could go back in time to high school you, not out of your shell, little brother, getting beat up on by big bro, but there's some little fire in there somewhere even at that time. Now knowing everything you know, what would you tell that little version of yourself?
This is a deep question.
It is. I end you with
This is a deep, deep question. So I'm going to pause for a sec. I pretend like I don't know the answer. Hold on. I'm actually thinking about the answer right now
That's
because I
fine.
don't know it.
We'll cut the pause. So
Can
it
you
just
cut
seems like
that?
you just
Can we
hit
cut
us.
the pause?
You'll just hit us with some. Like, I know.
You know what? It's all about just being comfortable with who you are, and being yourself, and not worrying about what other people think. And now, as a father, I've never cared less about what people think than I do now that I'm a dad.
Yeah.
All I care about is what my daughter thinks about me, and I could care less about anybody else. Yeah. It's really crazy.
It's funny because now I feel like you're going to watch your daughter. There's like the cycle. Your daughter's going to become a teenager, start worrying about what everyone thinks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to be like, just please trust me, don't care.
Don't care.
And then she's going to not care.
Yep.
And that's a very common, not common, like a lot of people have a version of that. And what I start to see after doing it for a long time is like, it is that single fact is something that really wastes a lot of time in people's lives. It's like worrying about all the little things that we worried about when we were younger.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like the little stuff. We're going to go get lunch. I don't care what I look like.
Yeah.
I'm with my daughter. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
Just like
stuff.
little things like, I mean, that's not the point of the story, but like, I just don't care.
Yeah, but think about how much time was spent worrying about little stuff.
Yeah.
Or like, what should I do with my life? Or I feel like a lot of people are really caught up in like, what will people think of my path instead of trusting their instinct.
That's it. And listen, it's okay to go through 25 different failed jobs till you find, what you're meant to be doing.
Yep.
I did. I got all those jobs. Trust me. I had no idea growing up I was going to be in real estate. No idea.
Yeah. Here we are. Okay. Tell everyone where to go, where to find the vlog, where to find the upcoming podcast. They know where the hit TV show is. Tell us all the good stuff.
There you go.
The scenes.
$1 Million Listing Bravo comes out in January, season 11. Go to my YouTube page, subscribe, check it out. We're having a lot of fun with it. It's more behind the scenes type of stuff, motivational type of stuff. Look for my new book coming out in April. It's called The Altman Close: Tactics to Negotiating and Closing Real Estate Deals from America's Top Real Estate Agent.
Like that.
And follow me on Instagram at @JoshAltman. Oh my God, I'm out of breath.
What's the podcast going to be?
Podcast is going to be $1 Million Listen. And you know who's going to be on it? My boy Drama.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I'd love to have you on.
Have me on. Let me know when that goes live
Cool.
too. I'll promote it on my thing
For
here.
sure. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, brother. You crushed it. I appreciate you.
Pleasure
doing this.
hanging. And of course, it wouldn't be a typical, meeting without me saying, call me when you're ready to buy a house.
I like that.
All right.
It's working.
Always.
Never not working. Thank you. Guys, if you like that and you want to see more like it, as well as vlogs, other web series, and all the random stuff that I'm doing here on YouTube, don't forget to click that subscribe button. You won't regret it. I promise.